everyone, I'm Khushee Joshi, a high school junior at Lagos, Nigeria. I'm an outgoing person who's passionate about a lot of things in life and likes to look at things equally. I'm also a writer, a poet, and everything in between. Today, I'm here on behalf of the Teen Pop magazine. The Teen Pop magazine, which is the first online magazine for high schoolers that gives young, aspiring journalists the opportunity to share their voice, build their writing portfolio, and receive peer feedback and mentorship in the editorial industry. If you'd like to write for them, check out their website at theteenpop.com. Today, I'm in conversation with professional violinist Nikki Naghavi. 19-year-old Nikki started violin lessons at the age of 4 and currently studies at the New England Conservatory of Music under the tutelage of Ayano Ninomiya. To Nikki, music isn't just about final performance, but the journey that affects the result. She believes in the inherent value of musical education and exposure, and thus has steered her work toward the direction that is accessible for the vast majority. Nikki is also a co founder of Through the Staff, an organization that provides free online music lessons to young musicians who could otherwise not afford or have access to them. Okay, hi Nikki, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay, first questions first. Tell us about your family. Are you from a long line of musicians? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, actually, my parents, neither of them play music or any instrument. Neither do their parents, so my grandparents. But music has always been like sort of like a huge love in our family. Lots of dancing, lots of singing, just for fun out of our hearts. But no formal training in music until I came along.
Okay, so where would you say you got inspired from to pick up violin?
Yeah. Well, actually my one of my cousins on my dad's side played music in our local youth orchestra, and I believe when I was probably 3 or 4, my parents took me to go see one of the concerts, and something about the orchestra, it just made me fall in love with the violin. Previously, my parents really wanted me to start an instrument anyway, just kind of some extracurricular, whether it was sports or music. And so I did a few of those things, but really music and violin in specific was the one that stuck with me.
That's wonderful. Okay, can you tell us about an average day in your life?
Sure, yes. Well, everything is a little bit crazy now because of coronavirus. Things are lightening up a little bit here in the United States, here and there. Over the past pandemic, my average day has been lots of classes in the mornings, maybe sometimes 4 or 5 hours of classes, then practicing a little bit, having some meetings, creating some content for my Instagram, practicing more, and I teach a lot as well. So evenings are filled with a lot of teaching, and then I will spend time with my family downstairs. We'll watch a movie or cook something together. It's my average day.
That's wonderful. And I think there's something about teaching that just kind of at the same time improves you improve on yourself, but it's just a special experience to teach, I guess. So
Absolutely.
how is that like?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been teaching for the past 10 years, I would say, but really when I got into it
Oh,
was yeah, I mean, it wasn't like anything serious when I was 9. It was kind of just, I was getting a taste of what it was like to help someone younger than me. But now I've been working recently with an app called Trala, which is kind of an interactive app for learning violin, and they offer private lessons. I'm one of the faculty with this app that teaches the private lessons, and it's amazing because I get to meet people from all over the world, different ages and stages in their life and professions, and it's one of the most enlightening and humbling experiences to be able to share something that I'm so passionate about with others who are just experiencing it for the first time in their lives. Not to mention like the crazy amount that actually like I realized during the lessons, and then I'm like, oh, this is why, my hand has to be curved here, for example, or this is why my teacher told me to play with this kind of bow for the past 10 years, for example. So it's been, I love teaching so much, and I would not trade it for anything.
that is wonderful. Okay, If you check your phone right now, what genre of music would we find?
Oh, that's a fun question. Honestly, I love R&B, rhythm and blues. You'll see lots of that. I actually have a playlist on Spotify where I kind of I've made it my vibing playlist, and whatever like piece or song I'm listening to, except for classical music. I'll leave the classical music aside. But any other, like whether it's like 70s rock or like some jazz, Duke Ellington, whoever it is, I really like the song. I'll add it to my playlist. So it's kind of a mix you'll see of like some jazz and some R&B, a little bit of pop here and there, not as much. Beatles, for example. Yeah, that's my.
Yeah. Okay. So is the playlist public? Could you share the name of your playlist?
No, I think I keep it private because I'm also a little bit in the, popular current music industry. I'm not the most up to date. So
Oh,
you'll
that's completely fine.
you'll see these songs that like my friends will be like, Nikki, why are you listening to that? That was from like eighth grade. And I'll be like, I like it. Sorry. Um,
Okay, that's no problem.
I might make it public. I'll let you know if I do.
Okay, yes, we'd be excited to see that. Okay, have you performed live or at concerts and do you enjoy performing?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I've performed live many times, which I'm fortunate to be able to say, as well as specifically during the past year and the pandemic, I've really had quite a bit of opportunity to perform live where lots of my peers and colleagues haven't had, whether it's performing gigs for crowds of non-musicians and, popular music that they might know, or substituting in the Plano Symphony Orchestra. That's also a huge passion of mine, um, but playing and performing for others. And I think specifically being able to do this for people who don't usually hear a violin or go to live music in general, it's very, I think it's something I'm very passionate about. Um, I think it can bring a lot of joy to people's lives and kind of open them to a window that they really didn't might not have known existed before.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really loving your answers.
Thank you.
Okay, what is your routine before a performance? Do you follow any superstitions?
Yeah. That's interesting you ask actually. Quite honestly, before a performance or audition, mostly auditions, I get very nervous. I'll usually be physically shaking, even if mentally I feel like it's not a big deal. Like physically, I can't stop myself from shaking. My vibrato is like very quick when I'm in the room playing. Um, and I hear a lot of people say, I can't eat anything before I play. Some people are, I feel like my diet is fine. Just try to take some deep breaths and sometimes stretch out my arms to uh, get just my muscles warmed up. Usually I'd love to play through everything that I'm playing very, very slowly. Just listen to a beautiful sound and focus on that.
That's so beautiful. Okay, I think I like the way you kind of like soothe into it.
Mhm.
So that is beautiful. Okay. Um, Preparation is definitely the key, no doubt about it. So, what would you say your goals for the next year are? Or maybe if you do even the next 10?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Quite honestly, the school which I go and I study at New England Conservatory, it's it's this really interesting experience where you can walk into a practice room, play one piece, and then someone walks in like 20 minutes after you got there. They're playing the same piece, but it's like all of these amazing like ideas that you hadn't thought of before in your playing. If like, oh, this emotion in this section, or oh, playing it at different speed here, for example. And it's so inspiring to hear this, and also especially considering a lot of these people are your friends, because the school is so small, we really all know each other, and so it's one of my goals, especially since I'll be able to go back to school next year, is to really sit down and listen to a lot more live performances or just people practicing and kind of be able to, like a sponge, soak up from this like all that I can. In the next 10 years, I'd really love to have a stable income, whatever that means. As a musician, there's also always this thought of, like, oh, especially, I mean, my family, honestly, no one really is a musician as a career. Very few people in my family are. Um, and it's not really in our culture to be that, it was kind of expected, oh, I'd be an engineer or a doctor or lawyer or something. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but I'd love to, for me, music, like the reason that I'm doing it is not just because I, really enjoy this piece of wood on my shoulder and creating sound out of it. It's really the opportunities I've been given growing up in middle school and high school and college as well. These are the type of opportunities I would like to provide for other youth and future generations. So being able to have a career for myself in this field, maybe it's working for an organization that has really helped me, or for example, growing through the staff, like the organization that you mentioned earlier. Our mission is to provide free private lessons to children all across the world who can't afford it or just in other ways don't have access to it. Um, and although it's not like something that we're gaining any profit from at all, but along these lines, something that I'd be able to support myself, but also be able to work in a way that helps many, many more people than just myself.
It's so inspiring to see you create this platform for people. Okay. Are there any violinists, either living or historical, that you're drawn to more than others?
Hmm, that's a great question. Yes, yes. I would say that there's one that comes to my mind specifically, and this is Ray Chen. He's a modern violinist. He's pretty young right now, maybe in his 30s or something. Fantastic performer, of course. His musicality is, I mean, I listen to his recordings all the time, and it's so inspiring for me. Um, but also, he has this other presence, like in the online space where I am a lot as well, as opposed to a lot of my peers, where just posting a lot of content and creating business and being this entrepreneurial force as well as a musician, which is very inspiring to me to see how he's able to kind of marry the two together and create this super fruitful career for himself. So that's been very inspiring to me. Um, I could also say Heifetz, of course, who is this you know incredible violinist with the most sweet tone and memorable sound. No one can ever forget what Heifetz sounds like when you listen to him. And the speeds that he takes, everything's like so much faster than everyone else. But yeah, of course, like those are two out of many, 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 many of my musical idols.
Okay. Describe your ultimate dream concert or recording project. Feel free to throw in the historical musicians.
Oh, wow, this is such a creative question. I've never been asked anything like this. My dream concert. Do you mind if I take a second to think about it?
Oh, sure, don't worry. Get creative.
Hmm. Okay, well, um, I hate to get into the nitty gritty here, but within classical music, there are so many stereotypes of, oh, you have to be completely silent at a concert. You can't move. You have to sit here and fall asleep in your chair for 2 hours. Honestly, I'm a classical musician. I'll go to a concert. I'm going to fall asleep too. I was just playing one the other day. I was asking my dad, so, how many did you listen to before you fell asleep? Not that the music isn't interesting, not that it's just sometimes it's not in today's, whether fortunately or unfortunately, a very instantaneous world. It's kind of asking a lot for the average human being on earth to listen to a concert and sit down for so long with completely unfamiliar music. So my ideal concert would kind of employ different parts. I'd want it to be sort of several concerts going on at once. Within maybe like a large building, different stages, different rooms, but I would love for people to have the opportunity to have like almost like a menu granted to them so they can see what everything's going on, when everything is starting, when everything is ending. Be able to kind of go between each room and see maybe like Oistrakh playing, Sibelius violin concerto in one room, and then like the New York Philharmonic playing Shostakovich 5 in another room, and then maybe like, some bluegrass music going on in another room, and some like a rock band with like all electric violins, cellos, and violas going on another. I would love, it's becomes this fine line of, okay, where is that respect to the preparation and performance of the musicians? Yeah, you don't want people just talking, going in and out and stuff like that, but I think that in order for classical music to continue to thrive, we really need to kind of stop these traditional ways of attending concerts, for example, or presenting music, and kind of be flexible to go to a more modern way of doing that, that can cater to a lot of people, so that a 5-year-old would be interested in it as well as a 95-year-old.
I'm loving that idea. Look forward to it sometime, maybe.
It's a lot easier to say than to do,
Of
but
course, yeah. But if it does happen, I'll be sure to book a ticket.
um,
Okay, this is kind of a rapid fire. You can answer as fast as you can. All right. First question: do you have any other musical pursuits, such as playing the piano, or conducting, or composing, or maybe like in the start of the conversation, singing?
no. Singing a little bit. I took a little bit of voice class last year, but nothing else. I don't have talent.
So second question: 5 words to describe your life away from the violin.
Family, busy, happy.
That's nice. Okay. What show are you currently binging?
Ooh, Orange is the New Black. Almost
Ooh, how are you liking it?
love it. It's I've learned a lot about the prison system. It's opened my eyes a lot too.
Okay, nice. Okay, so this is where we end the interview.
Okay.
Uh, Thank you for coming. It was wonderful listening to you, and honestly, some of your answers were really inspirational.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you. No, it was really very nice for me to be here as well. I really appreciate everything, and I mean the Teen Pop magazine is. I love seeing everything about what you guys are doing. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, so if you'd like to know more about Nikki, keep track with the Team Pop magazine. Thank you.